My name is Jen Cushman. I am an empathic intuitive and an energy worker. I am also master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, mental emotional release, and hypnotherapy. And this is my Magic Mondays, and I do this live on Facebook every single Magic Mondays. The process is we start with a little love and learn topic, and then I go into mini readings for the people who are here on live. Okay. So today is November 6th, I believe, 2023. And the topic that I want to talk to you guys about today is that coming up on Saturday is the 11/11 portal. So that is November 11th of 2023. And that is actually, when you add that all up, it is really 11/11/11. So that's pretty rare. I mean, we get 11/11 every single year, but we don't necessarily get the 23. So when you add 2 plus 3 plus 1, 1, 1, 1, you get the 11 again. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about what the energy means. Oh my gosh, I can see the light is kind of going back and forth between cool and warm. So it's like, ooh, again, we'll get this down, you guys. I don't know what it looks like on your end, but for my end, it's getting warm, cool, warm, cool. It's kind of going in and out, in and out. So anyway, again, just rolling with it, just rolling with it. Okay. So let me go back to the 11/11 gateway and what's going on with that. And I normally talk every single year since I've been doing Magic Mondays. I actually talk about November 11th and what 11/11 is. And I was thinking today, I was kind of talking to my team a little bit as I was on my way down to the gym to do my swim. I was just talking to my spirit team and being like, I know I want to talk about the importance of 11, and I want to talk about the importance of this day and this month. And because I've done it before, I'd like to approach it from a new and different angle. And so the download I got was to really actually talk about it almost as a metaphor and almost a little bit artsy today. Okay. So it's a little art plus spirit here. And I want to talk to you guys about 11 as a portal, as a gateway. So if you think about 11, right, it's two vertical lines. That's what 11 is. Now, I live 11 every single day. And particularly when I do my intuitive readings or I do my energetic emotional releases, or even when I'm doing the mental emotional release, which is really mental and emotional, right? So that's what that is. But I live it every single day because the way it works for me is that my spirit team is right on either side of me over my right shoulder and my left shoulder, and then they line up behind me. I don't know if anybody else has that experience when you have your team and how you talk to divine and how you talk to spirit. But for me, this is the way it works. I always have Archangel Michael on my left, and then I have my spirit, my guardian angel on my right. And they always are on either side of me. They are strong pillars for me. They're like the number 11. And then behind them, it lines up my wisdom guides. I have a male and female wisdom guides. I have my divine masculine, my divine feminine. And these guys, you guys, these guides, I've done journeys to meet them, and they are ancient. They literally go back way, 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 way back. And they have been with me because I have actually had many lifetimes, and I've been shown many lifetimes in spontaneous. I have spontaneous. So because of that, and then behind that lines up my other team. I have a total of 12 in total, and then 13. I make the 13th. And then after that, I line up with my ancestors. Okay. So that's the way my spirit team works for me. I have no idea how it works for you, but I would love to hear how your team works for you, how you feel them, how you see them, where they are in location, all of that stuff. I'd love to know more. And the other thing I want to remind you about 11 is with these two vertical lines, 11 is actually foundational, right? So if you think about structure, if you think about our buildings, you think about our houses, you think about windows, you think about doors, everything is 11s, right? We are just 11 stacked up. We are a bunch of vertical lines. So, what is a house? Many houses are boxes, unless they're octagon houses. I actually have a very dear friend of mine who lives in an octagon house, which is pretty cool. But for most of us, we live in square boxes, rectangular boxes, and they are lined up. The foundational lineup on every side is the vertical lines, right? And then the vertical lines come together, and then that's how we get the support system where they lean over and the two roof lines come together. And when they do with the buttress, it's called sistering, which I love. So that's just a little an aside. So we have 11s. If you look out your window, in front of me right now is a window. I have a square window, and on either side, I have two vertical lines. So I have 11. When I walked into the doorway of the room, every doorway is two vertical lines. So it's an 11. So if you can start thinking about 11, which is one of our master numbers, if you can start thinking about 11 as foundational, thinking about it as a metaphor for our, again, what I always talk about, right? The whole theme of 2023 for me was, as above, so below, as within, so without. So it really is a mission of mine and a purpose of mine to live the spiritual on a daily basis and bring the spiritual down into the physical. Because if I'm not living in the physical, if I'm not living me as Jen and doing my life as a wife and a mother and an artist and an intuitive and as a guide, an emotional release guide, creativity coach, all of those roles, those hats I play that are all pieces of my personality that make up who I am, that make up Jen in this human form, in this human life. This is my physical. And I want to be as present in my physical as I possibly can, because I truly believe that beautiful, beautiful, poem that says, what will you do with your one wild and precious life? So I have one wild and precious life as Jen in this body, in this iteration, in this manifestation. And I want to just build on the foundations that I have. And then I want to be able to walk through the portals and do what I want to do every single day. So part of that for me is living a creative life. It's living freedom. When I can wake up every single day and do what I love and do what is on my heart and mind and create what I want to create, that to me is freedom. And freedom is one of my highest values. Now, how do you do that? You set up a really strong foundation. You use those vertical lines in your life. You use those 11s to set up a really strong foundation. And then you use the windows as a metaphor. So when you're looking through the window and you're looking through the outside, what are you looking at? What is your possibility? Is your window dirty? Is it clean? Is it have a beautiful view? Do you need to cover it up with curtains because it's facing a wall? It's like, think about, start thinking about your windows as a portal between your present and your future, right? And then your doorways, the doorways in your house, we just unconsciously move through our houses every day. We walk from our bedrooms to the kitchen to the living room, inside, outside, and we don't ever think about it. And every single time we are walking through a doorway, you know, of our house or through a store, through wherever we're going, we are literally walking through a portal at that moment, right? So we can be present with our portals, we can be present in the master number 11, or we can just go through unconsciously. And so, one of the things I wanted to do today is I just wanted to think about the 11 as not just a number, but as symbology for new beginnings, symbology for portals, and most of all, symbology for awareness. So when we are aware and we are in the present, and we can be aware of what's going on instead of just running our unconscious programming and running our daily life, when we can actually be aware, there is power in presence. There is power of being fully engaged in your body, being aligned in your four bodies, right? Your spiritual body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your physical body, and being aligned in the foundation of that. and then really being able to be in the present moment. Because when we can be in the present moment, we can be in alignment, when we can have a really solid foundation, we can actually be more peaceful in our lives. We can be more of an observer of what's happening. We can really deliberately create as sacred creators. And then when stuff is going on around us, right? So if we're at work and there's drama happening, or we're at home with our families and there's drama happening, or other things happening around us, when we are solid in our foundation, and when we can be here in our presence, looking out through the window, we can actually be more aware of what's going on. And so, one of the things is that when we can observe rather than respond, right? So, if we can actually observe first and then respond, we actually give ourselves a breath and a beat to be able to take things in a little bit. So, our nervous system isn't always running, on this cortisol, on this stress, on all of the outside things that are coming at us. That's going to happen no matter what happens. We are living human lives, right? And our nervous systems are taking and receiving information. And yet, when we can be in a state of awareness, which is what 11 is, it's the awakening sign, right? It is the vertical foundation of light, is what 11 is. When we can really be in that foundation, and we can be in a moment where we can just take things in a little bit, so we can observe it before we respond to it, we can actually live in a state of more peaceful harmony. And I know it because I'm doing it. You guys, I don't teach anything that I don't know intimately, and I don't teach anything that I don't experience myself. Okay. So that was really what I wanted to talk to you about. Energetically, on Saturday, the 11 is coming up. And one of the things that, just to go back a little bit, I think if you remember a couple of Magic Mondays ago, I was talking about the eclipse season. In October, we had an eclipse early in October, and then we finished October with an eclipse, right? And it was some seriously big energy. And the energy, the cosmic energy of this eclipse season, of what was happening, was really, really about releasing things that no longer serve us. And we can see it on a micro level, which is what's going on within us. And we could see it on a macro level of what is happening out in the world. When you looked at, Israel and Palestine again, you look at the things that are happening, you can look at not just that, but other areas of our life, in order to do the new world where we grow and we uplift each other, and we go to a place of creativity and knowledge based on knowing. What happens is, those old systems that were built, patriarchy, power, a lot of those old systems that made people here and other people here, they must fall away. They must literally break wide open in order to create something new. Mother Nature does destruction. She really, really does. When things get out of control and she needs to rewrite the earth, she just brings in destruction. She just writes it herself, right? Nature has a way of surviving. And as human beings, we have a way of surviving. And those things that just don't serve us anymore, our structures, our systems, our politics, our ways of being, that are no longer built on the human heart and the human condition, need to go away. Because the human heart and the human condition, and returning to the fact that we love each other and that we're one people and that we are supportive of each other, is the way that we can survive, right? So, don't want to get on a big soapbox there, but I tend to get on one when that happens. And I just want to bring it back to the fact that that eclipse season, cosmically, energetically, particularly those of us that are sensitive, and I say this every single Magic Monday, you are my sensitive peeps. You felt the intensity of the last month. You felt those eclipses. I felt those eclipses. And part of the lessons and part of the learnings to be a sensitive and to be an empath is to stay in your power when other things are going to hell in a handbasket. when you're feeling other people's emotions, when you are dealing with changes and transitions in your life that feel very unsafe and uncomfortable, you know, the thing that we can do as a sensitive is to put our roots down in the ground, rely on our 11, rely on our foundation, and find our inner peace, our inner strength, our agency, no matter what is happening around us. And when we do that, we can live our purpose as light workers and way showers. We can stand in our power. We can stand in the center of the 11 and we can radiate it outwards. Okay. That's what I wanted to talk to you about the 11. So, with Saturday coming up and with it now being into November, that eclipse season has ended. And we have released the things in our life. If we were doing the work, we have released the things in our life that are no longer serving us, and we get to go to new beginnings again. We get to recreate. We get to look out our window and we get to see what our view is and see what the future is ahead of us, and then we can manifest it, we can create it. Okay. Now, I'm going to go back to one other thing that they're telling me to remind you guys about. And they're saying this is really, really important. This month, and particularly heading into Saturday and the 11-11-11 portal, right? Again, 11-11 is common because it happens every single November. 11-11-11, when you add the 23, you add it all up. That's a rarity. Okay. So there is a really nice opportunity there for personal growth and development, and the energy of supporting there, and the energy of your guides and angels on either side of you and your team behind you. So going into this work, you have new beginnings. Look to your solid foundations. You have released the things you were supposed to release. You have created the things that you want to create. So if you are focusing this Saturday on all the problems that are in your life right now, and you are telling yourself, oh, I don't want that, just know that your unconscious mind, our programming, our patterning, our unconscious mind runs the body. Our unconscious mind works in symbols and dreams and metaphors and art and stories. Our unconscious mind does not process negatives. So if our unconscious mind does not process negatives and you are projecting out to the world all the things you don't want, your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference between not wanting it and wanting it. So if you are putting out there and you're eating a piece of chocolate cake and you're just like, oh man, I don't want to do this. You know what I mean? I don't want to get fat. I don't want to stay fat, right? It's like I don't want to eat this chocolate cake because I know this chocolate cake is adding weight to my body. You know, your unconscious mind, what you're basically telling your unconscious mind is eat the cake, right? Like I'm eating the cake and I'm not liking it. And this is what I'm doing. I'm eating the cake. So, what would be a better thing to do, a better strategy for that is to have one bite of the chocolate cake. Like it's okay. If you really, really want it, have one bite of the chocolate cake and then really like just kind of put it aside and be like, man, that was a really good piece of chocolate cake. That satisfied me. I'm super happy. That was just the right amount of chocolate in my mouth. You know, my brother-in-law, I love him. When he eats something good, he always says, he's like, there's a party in my mouth and you're invited, or or I'm in, what is it, there's a party in my, oh, there's a party in my mouth and I'm attending. I love that, right? So he just enjoys whatever food is in his mouth and he's like, it's a party in my mouth and I'm attending, right? The other thing is if you don't want to work the job, like let's say you're in the job and you're like, I don't want to be working here. I don't want to be working here. I don't want to be doing this. Your unconscious mind hears, doesn't process the not. So it hears, I want to be doing this. Give me more. Give me more. Right. All of those things, relationship, like let's say you're fighting with your partner, things are not in the right way. And it's like, man, I don't want to be doing this. I don't want us to not be communicating. If we can actually change our thinking, so then we can change our thoughts and our neurology, we can change it to, instead of I don't want to be not communicating, which is a double negative, which is really hard to process. It just doesn't do it at all. It scrambles the brain. It's actually an NLP technique I do to actually do double negatives to really scramble the conscious brain to get to the unconscious. So it doesn't process double negatives. So the better thing to do with the partner is to say, I would like for us to communicate again, you know? Put it out there as a solid foundation. Watch your thoughts, watch what you are thinking, particularly coming into the portal, and see if you can train yourself to change those thoughts to what you do want. I don't know if you guys remember, but in 2020, when I opened Soul Star Magic, my guides and angels, every single reading in the very beginning, because we were in the pandemic, was singing to me the Spice Girls. You guys have heard me say this again and again and again, right? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, right? So that's it. So if you guys can just catch yourself, if you catch yourself this week in a negative spiral, if you catch yourself focusing on what you don't want, just sing the Spice Girls to yourself as a strategy, you know? Sing it to yourself. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and then allow your unconscious mind to bubble up, work with your conscious mind, be in harmony of that, and put it into the positive of you want. And then understand that you have a foundation in front of you and that you are building your life on a really strong foundation. Okay. Okay. I think that sounds good to me. I just got the complete. They gave me the complete, they gave me the infinity circle, which means complete. And let me just ask if there's anything more that we need to talk to you about. No, the only other thing they said is to make sure that you enjoy Saturday. Enjoy the 11:11 gateway, okay? It is a doorway. It is a window. It is just another opportunity energetically to know that your angels and guides are here and they are always with you. They're telling me to remind you that you have a team. Every single one of us has a team. We have a guardian angel who has been with us from this lifetime and all of our past lifetimes and will be with us in our future lifetimes. Now, that is my belief system. Okay. If it doesn't ring true for you, that is perfectly fine. Take what resonates whenever I talk. Okay. And for me, I know I have guardian angels and spirit guides that are in non physical form who have been with me through lifetimes. And I talk to them every single day. I feel them. I take some time every single day to get quiet, be in the present moment, be in the presence of the divine, and just feel that feeling that I have of universal love and peace. And I know where I live makes it easier for me to do that. I live in quiet a lot. I live in the woods. I live where my neighbors are the elk and the deer and the bunnies and the javelinas. And the looking out through my window, my 11s, is a reminder to me that nature is out there and that I need to bring the nature within, that peace, that stillness, that silence. So I make it a point to do it every single day. Now, those of you who live in the city, are driving, there's a lot of noise, there's traffic, your job is intense, it's stressful, you have a lot of family obligations. It can be a lot more difficult to be quite that zen all the time. And trust me, I am not always zen. And I also really love and enjoy my peace. So my team just wanted me to model peace to you guys and for you to know that your team is always with you and that at any moment, even if you feel alone, you are never alone because you have divine presence with you, supporting you, loving you. And all you need to do is just reach out to them. Okay. Okay. Now that really is complete. Let me just ask. Yep. Infinity. That's the 8 on the side, Infinity, which is coming up Wednesday as well. So that's another good introspective day before we go into the 11 gateway and the 11 portal. Okay. Okie dokie. Awesome. I always love saying that. Okie dokie.